Good afternoon, freedom-loving patriots. This is Jordan. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. If you wouldn't mind, please like, comment, and subscribing. Today, we are reacting to Awaken with JP. He just released something a couple hours ago. This guy goes into these indoctrination camps at these colleges, undercover as Antifa, and pretty much exposes what's really happening. As we know, they are very dumb, young, indoctrinated leftist kids. A lot of them probably spoiled little brats who've never worked a day in their lives. It's just like BLM. Then it was Antifa. Then it was the trans agenda. Now it's the Palestine agenda. And I'm going to say what I've been saying the whole time throughout these cults. Move there. For example, if you support the Ukraine war, move there. Give your own money there. Palestine, go move there. Guaranteed you'll last a day. Any of these movements that have been created by George Soros and these leftists are just here to distract us before an election or cause chaos between the people. And the people are waking up in masses right now because of these kids. Let me tell you that much.
Sables about the same wristbands as the anti-Semites so that we could sneak into their camp and woo child the ghetto. First of all, they had gender-neutral buckets to urinate and poop in. The whole place smelled like musty terrorists and but the fact that they were forcing out conversation and journalists makes it clear that they don't have the answers to explain why they're there.
Let's take a look at some of these idiot protesters doing stupid things. Welcome back to the JP Rex channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, all the pro-Palestine campus protests going on all over the country, buildings being taken over, janitors being held hostage. Is that under the American right of freedom of speech, the right to protest? Well, the actual protesting, it is. But there's also some criminal activity happening and also straight up domestic terrorism. Let's tear down the American flag, put up a Palestine flag because we're all white. So in this video, we're just going to focus on idiot protesters doing
the most mind-boggling part to me about these stupid woke protesters is a lot of them with their little stupid shirts and flags say gays for Palestine, trans for Palestine. All they would have to do is take 2 minutes to look up how they treat those type of people in that country. They literally throw them off buildings. They kill those type of peoples. And these are the, I'd say, half of the people who are protesting for them. They are so out of touch with reality. Where are their parents at? Where are the police at? Where are the owners of these facilities and colleges at? Lock them up. But we all know if you lock them up, they will be out a couple hours later, if anything, stirring up the pot even worse.
Stupid things. Now, the gentleman you saw open up this video, we're going to take a look back at what else he had to say. He was at UCLA, and right now the footage you're seeing, he filmed of the pro-Palestine activists, all in what? Wearing masks. I wonder why. Pulling a journalist off the campus. We'll pick back up with him because he had some great precise takes on some of the stupidity he was seeing.
Ghetto. First of all, they had gender-neutral buckets to urinate and poop in. The whole place smelled like musty terrorists and
That is
the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. They have gender-neutral buckets, not bathrooms, buckets where people are shitting and pissing in these buckets. That's where your taxes and the money your parents or their parents, their taxes also goes to this. It is amazing that any taxes funds these woke indoctrination schools. Wow.
Inclusive. Like these buckets, they're gender inclusive. Like they're neutral. Like anybody can poop in the same bucket that doesn't flush.
But the fact that they were forcing out conversation and journalists makes it clear that they don't have the answers to explain why they're there. And I was overhearing the most racist conversations about white people just in general. These people are literally BLM rebranded and more extreme.
Yep. Summer of Love, BLM rebranded, same thing, just a different cause that they're not actually concerned about. It's an election year. We need to do BLM too. By the way, it's also an election year, so you got to wear masks. I keep pointing this out from different videos. Look at all these lunatic protesters. They're all wearing masks to conceal their identity because they don't feel proud of what they're doing, and they're doing criminal activity. They're not scared of COVID anymore.
I even overheard one girl say that my mom told me that I looked like an Antifa member, and I told her that was the greatest compliment you've ever given me. These people don't realize how deeply on the wrong side of history they are. But everything in the dark comes to the light. And you can't hide the truth from me, anti-Semites, because I'll come over again and again.
Did you delete it?
I did.
Okay.
He didn't delete the footage. This next video you're going to think is a parody, but it's the actual pro-Palestine protesters and, just their list of demands. Here's the caption on Twitter. The campus occupiers.
So let's get this straight. These commies, these indoctrinated idiots, not only do they break school property, attack Jewish people, attack anyone with dissent on the other end, or attack cops, or break federal buildings, or they're also demanding free food, housing, all of this stuff while committing felonies, while attacking people based off their race. Like, this is just insane what is happening in America. And this is authoritarian type countries that allow this stuff. This is like Venezuela or China. Even China has more control over their people. That's a bad comparison, but I was going to say, you would think, sorry, terrible comparison. Pretend I never said that. But yes, Venezuela, perfect. This is what you'd see in there, Venezuela. It's just insane to see this.
They occupy. That means they've taken over a building. That's domestic terrorism. That's not protesting. The campus occupiers at Harvard, our best and brightest, released a propaganda video showcasing the liberated zone. They made it worse. They didn't liberate anything. A true model for future communist utopia.
Welcome to the Harvard Liberated Zone and our Gaza Solidarity Encampment. This is our list of demands.
Let's look at those demands. Disclose any and all investments, both institutional and financial, in Israel, the ongoing genocide in Gaza, and the occupation of Palestine. Demands at the college. Again, all these people think their college administration has jurisdiction over Gaza. Y'all could end the war. That's why we're protesting, because you have jurisdiction across the world, don't you? Otherwise, this doesn't make any sense. Divest from all such investments and something reinvestment in resources in Palestine. Cool. Drop all charges against students for being criminals? No. Unless you have Soros-backed district attorneys in your city, which they probably do. Dude, prosecute these criminals. Drop all charges against.
Let's be very clear. George Soros is funding this, just like he funded BLM, just like he funded Antifa, just like he funded the trans cult. Now he's funding this.
Students for their organizing and something commit to ending the weaponization of disciplinary policy. The weaponization of disciplinary policy, man, they need more disciplinary policy. They let these hooligans get away with so much. Let's go on.
Inside of our encampment, we have various sections, such as our art build, such as our reading center.
For higher education in a tent.
And here we're basically trying to...
Dude, that's like the whole COVID, well, you can't do indoor dining. So we're going to do outdoor dining. We'll build new structures. We'll do indoor dining outside that'll still be inside. So these people, they're living with these huge libraries around them. They're like, no, we should do a library in a tent.
Lift the consciousness around Palestine.
I like the little baby Yoda doll. That definitely helped lift the consciousness around Palestine. By the way, place your bets in the comments below. This person, this white person wearing, culturally appropriating, Middle Eastern culture with their scarf. Place your bets in the comments below. Is it a man trying to be a woman or a woman trying to be a man? It's hard to tell with the facial hair and the voice.
At our encampment, we also have numerous events, including teach-ins on Pan-African Palestinian solidarity.
Anything with the word solidarity in it, that's a pathway right to my prefrontal cortex.
101s, explaining the importance and the significance of dabke, of Palestinian food.
What's the importance of Palestinian food? It feeds people.
Where do these people get the nerves to be pushing their beliefs in America on us? I don't get it. They're protesting a different country, and they're pretty much trying to force their views on the whole entire country. They did the same thing with the trans cult. It's all over again.
Cool. Thank you for the lesson.
Enlightening Palestinian identity and all of the various forms that it can assume. Over here, we also have our spiritual and prayer space at the encampment.
So after you mercilessly beat Jewish people on the head with your weapons, come over here for the spiritual experience. We're going to pray. We're going to meditate.
Here is where we have held numerous congregational prayers for Muslims, as well as
I guarantee most people at those Muslim prayers weren't Muslim.
Passover gatherings for our Jewish comrades.
Oh, that's nice.
Since launching the Harvard Liberated
Your health is your biggest asset. Find Anthem Blue Cross plan starting at
Zone, we have actually expanded our tents to occupy 3 additional sections in Harvard.
By the way, while this person's speaking so nicely, you can zoom into the sign in the background that just says something.
Our movement is only growing, and we will continue to be as visible as possible to make sure that Palestine is unavoidable and to ensure that our demands for disclosure, divestment, and dropping.
Fuck your demands when it comes to what you clowns want. We got homeless veterans in the street. We got Americans dying from gang violence every day. We have record amounts of fentanyl coming across the street. Fuck your message on Palestine. You know what, you cocksuckers? I'm sorry. I'm just getting so fed up with this Palestine garbage. If you want to protest them 24/7 and get on your knees and blow them, go move to Palestine. I'm telling you, though, that looks like a dude pretending to be a woman or a woman pretending to be a dude. They'll kill you if you go down there. But, of course, you wouldn't know that because you're indoctrinated.
All charges against pro-Palestine students are met.
Dropping all charges against people committing criminal activity. That's interesting. If they weren't criminals, they wouldn't have charges against them. It's weird how leftism tries to outlaw criminality in the sense of like outlawing law, making crime legal. It's weird how that just happens all over the place, including this incredibly leftist encampment. And by the way, also you see with leftism, people living in tents at best. Kind of looks like the streets of San Francisco. Weird what leftism and communism looks like. Always looks like the same thing no matter where it's at. Okay, next up in Idiot Protesters Doing Stupid Things, you may have seen this woman. I'll show you the little clip. It's just priceless. Asking the university to feed the people that are taking over the university. It's great, but first you have to understand who she is. Now, we'll get back to the insanity in just a second, but first, how would you like to work hard to earn your money and save your money only to have your hard-earned money lose value? Old financial advice that I don't subscribe to anymore is work hard and save your money. Because unfortunately, our money loses value every year due to inflation. In fact, the JP reacts King Slutsky. Whether that's valid or not, it's funny either way. So we'll leave it in with a disclaimer. I don't know. Is that his, her, them, theirs, actual LinkedIn profile? Doesn't matter because they make themselves look like enough of an idiot. Take a look. Oh, and as you take a look, you have to admire the people that tend to gather, like where you have to place a bet. Is that a guy or a girl? And then you also have to place a bet. What do they think they are? Nonetheless, here's King Slutsky.
Why should the university be obligated to provide food to people who've taken over a building?
The reporter's question, why should the university be obligated to provide food for people that have taken over a building?
Yeah, it's insane that they think they're entitled to anything for free when they've been attacking staffers, students, and breaking actual buildings. Like, it's amazing that even people are willing to come to the debate table with you, but that just shows you that the college administrators and the people at the top support this because they support the agenda. It's all just to divide before the election. That's all it comes down to.
First of all, we're saying that they're obligated to provide food to students who pay for a meal plan here.
But you mentioned that there was a request that food and water be brought in, unless I misunderstood.
To allow it to be brought in. I mean, well, I guess it's ultimately a question of what kind of community and obligation Columbia feels it has to its students.
It's like if a home invader took over your house, would you be obligated to provide food and water to the home invader? You be the judge.
Do you want students to die of dehydration and starvation or get severely ill, even if they disagree with you? If the answer is no, then you should allow basic, I mean, it's crazy to say because we're on an Ivy League campus, but this is like basic humanitarian aid we're asking.
It's actually not basic humanitarian aid. We'll take a look at the Twitter notes, community notes in just a second.
Or like, could people please have a glass of water?
But they did put themselves in that very deliberately in that.
They did put themselves there very deliberately, the reporter says.
Situation and in that position. So it seems like you're sort of saying, we want to be revolutionaries. We want to take over this building. Now, would you please bring us food and water? And
Nobody's asking them to bring anything. We're asking them to not violently stop us from bringing in basic humanitarian aid.
Wow, these kids are so dumb.
We are looking for a commitment from them that they will not stop it violently.
They haven't stopped it.
Haven't stopped it violently. They haven't stopped it at all. But we're looking for a commitment for them to keep doing what they're already doing, which is not stopping the delivery of food. And also, could you please provide the food for us?
I don't know to what extent it has been attempted, but we're looking for a commitment.
That is great. Now, take a look at the Twitter community notes. Her claims are misleading. Now, I'm not a fact-checking guy, but this is from the Twitter community. Take a look at what they say. Per Columbia, campus dining is open. Number 2, humanitarian aid is for saving lives in the most dire situations. Violent conflict, natural disasters. The students can leave if they want. Yeah, that's all fact check true. And then the Babylon Bee strikes again with this idiot protester. History repeats itself as communists run out of food. Next up, take a look at these white Ivy League protesters throwing water and drinks on a...
Wow, these white liberal kids have the nerves. Literally pouring water on black cops. Ooh. If I was that cop, I would slap them upside their faces. But I know that's why I couldn't be a cop, because I couldn't deal with these pussies these days. I would slap them every single time I'm around them. What disrespect. I say deport all these white liberal college kids. Deport them all to Palestine. Why not? They're obsessed with it. They love it. Deport them there.
Black policeman.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe.
White students throwing drinks on a black man. I don't know that they know how that looks. But the good news is those white Ivy League protesters throwing drinks on a black man, they have masks on, so hopefully they won't be caught. And take a look at this George Washington statue that's been Palestinianed up. Matt Walsh's caption, the protesters defaced a statue of George Washington. As I've said from the beginning, the pro-Palestine movement in the US is almost entirely just the new version of BLM. These people are motivated by anti-American and anti-white hatred primarily. Fair enough. I would definitely say they're motivated by being controlled by outside forces, probably using weaponized morality, telling these gullible students that what they're doing is good, when in fact what they're doing is bad and is primarily aimed at destroying the fabric of America. But if you're going to do that, you got to have some useful idiots. And what better useful idiots than idiot protesters who are willing to do stupid things? And now take a look at this. The next video we'll see a clip of 63-year-old professional protest consultant Letha Fithian giving orders to students how to riot, vandalize, and break into Columbia University. Let's take a look. And of course, none of this is orchestrated, okay? You're gonna flip it, I think.
Yeah, the tie's on there. You can tie it right to the line.
Yep, there's the...
Let's give them a little cover. Camera's back.
There she is.
Like, what is the point of all this? There's just 0 point. Like, I don't get it. You're trying to break into buildings where people are sleeping or studying for what? For Palestine? What do these other students in these buildings have to do with your message? It has nothing to do with it, because as we know, the people that are coming across the border, a lot of them are terrorists and on the terrorist watch list. They are actually coming to these places. We've already seen that there's jihadists, people from other countries that are at these places that aren't even actual students that are coming to these protests and starting to attack people, causing chaos, and nothing's being done about it. So we have open border with terrorists. Terrorists are going to these places and attacking actual humans, Americans who are doing nothing wrong, and getting away with it. Clown world.
Professional protest consultant. Zip ties on that table. Tie it to the door with zip ties. Cool. Break the glass. Camera back. And now we'll see protesters, aka people who have become domestic terrorists, checking wristbands to make sure that everybody who gets in is anti-Israel as approved by the wristband, aka people who are not Jewish and people who are willing to not support Jewish people. Conceal that identity with a mask. Pretend you're afraid of COVID because you need your identity concealed because which side of history are you on? Do you want your kids and grandkids to see that you're checking wristbands to make sure you keep the Jews out? Yep. Wear that mask, put the sunglasses on, hat down, conceal that identity because of COVID. Right, buddy? Noah Bloom on Twitter just captions this. Have they considered armbands? Next up, what happens when a crazed student chains and glues herself to a bench as part of a hunger strike for Gaza protest? Well, what we know is it won't make any difference in Gaza, no matter how glued she is and how hungry she gets. But police painstakingly removed her from the bench using massive bolt cutters as she pulled series of peculiar facial expressions. Let's take a look. I feel sorry for these cops having to deal with this person.
They should post that right there and put that on a meme on social media right here. Right here. This is your typical dumbass who loves to mess with the cops' time and mess with students who are really trying to learn for their own little political agenda, which if you ask them, they don't even know what the fuck they're protesting over. And usually I don't cuss this much, but this topic right here really pisses me off. Look, it says hunger strike for Gaza. So what these idiots do is they lock themselves to pipes or construction or cause chaos because people in Gaza are hungry, I guess. These people belong in a psych ward, all of them.
Does that look like a mentally stable person? I want the Chinese government to stop occupying Hong Kong. If I glue myself to a bench, it's probably going to move the needle, isn't it? And here, what you're about to see is peaceful protesters peacefully breaking windows. You gotta break the windows so you can chain the doors shut. Because you're building now, isn't it? Now, we're going to close this video with sanity. Sanity that makes all that insanity make a little bit of sense. This is an exquisitely intelligent perspective that I think is articulated beautifully by someone on Twitter named Alika LeBlanc. Probably didn't say that right, but you can see her name here. Here's what she says. I can't believe I have to explain what's going on here, but here goes. Elite students of Ivy League schools have glamorized oppression so much that they have now reached role play status to satisfy their fantasies. Here, the students have appropriated the suffering of Gazans and are cosplaying as living through humanitarian crisis. These Ivy League students that are paying $80,000 a year for their tuition. They're role-playing oppressed people in Gaza. That is very insightful. In their American make-believe story where Ivy League infrastructure sets the scene, the students play Gazans and the school administration plays Israel. Israel, the school, is blocking their basic humanitarian aid in this play. And if they don't receive it soon, they will die of thirst and starvation, appropriating the exact experiences of Gazans. They also destroy upper-class buildings and claim them as liberated, while the students repeat chants in zombie-like chorus, playing the role of freedom fighters, destroying Israeli infrastructure and claiming them as freed. If I'm alive in a world where people don't see the levels of perversion in this, I give up. That insight makes the insanity of what's going on make a little bit of sense. Not that it justifies it, but it makes sense why insane people are doing insane things. What's going on in their imaginations? What role do they think they're playing that they're pretending they're in? And therefore, what are they projecting on to these institutions around them? By the way, institutions that I don't respect. They're truly indoctrination camps, which kind of makes this whole thing sort of funny.
It's insane that there's still even kids that are going to these like well known around the world colleges. Like right now, college is the biggest waste of time in our country's history when it comes to college. Go to a trade school if you know what you want to do. It's cheaper, it's faster, it will help you get a job right out the door. College, they're just indoctrination camps for weak people, in my opinion. Weak people that can be easily controlled, easily just talked into to believe whatever they want, even if it's not based off fact. That's how dumb these kids are. They are becoming just walking, talking zombies, and that's it. It's very much that simple. Please like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.